like, comment, subscribe, share, and make sure you hit that notification button so you can be notified about my new videos.
Welcome back to Man's Trash, God's Treasure. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. You didn't celebrate. I hope you had a good day off work. Hope your families are doing well. I hope you're doing well. I want to speak on the importance of knowing who you are, the importance of being taught who you are as a foundation for your life. There's an example that I would like to use that I find very interesting about life, about how the world sees and teaches us things, but they don't really touch upon or show us how to navigate through certain things in life that are very, very, very important. So, as we're growing up, we are taught school's important. The world teaches us that getting a job is important. They give us an education, and they put a lot of emphasis on that education. But I feel like that's only a small portion of life, and that a lot of us are missing such a bigger part. And the larger part of life, that mental and spiritual fortitude, is what's going to keep us going. It's what's going to keep us moving forward, striving, knowing that we're God's treasure, of course. It's going to keep us in a mindset and on a spiritual pathway that allows us to navigate the world a whole lot easier. It won't solve all the problems, of course, because we need other things in life, but it is a very large part of our lives. And I think that we put so much emphasis on the things that the world wants us to do and don't put a lot of emphasis on learning who we are and what we're supposed to do outside of those things. So imagine what the world focuses on as being or teaching you how to dive. Right? They want you to, at the end of your experience in education, your job, your career, they want you to climb this ladder throughout so that you can get to the top of this ladder and jump off of a high dive, right? But when we're growing up, we don't know that high dive is scary. We don't know what we're diving into. We don't know. They're not teaching us that. They're just teaching us this emphasis. So throughout your career, throughout your education, you start at the first step, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, so on and so forth. You get what I'm saying? They build you up. They want you to, we want you to climb, we want you to climb, we want you to make this leap. We want you to make this dive. We want you to be successful. We want you to be excellent. We want you to be wonderful divers. We want you to climb this ladder and understand that, once you get to the top and you dive off, it's going to be so wonderful. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be great. It's going to be magnificent. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be great. And they're going to give examples of people who have done these things and, who have dived or dove. And, this is supposed to be a wonderful, epic time. Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Some of us halfway up, realize that we're afraid of heights. So we freeze. Some of us get all the way up to the top and we get scared because of, well, I mean, I don't want to jump. It's a long jump. I don't want to do that. It's crazy. Nobody talked about how long the jump off was. They were just gassing up how important it was for me to jump. What do I do now? So I don't want to do that. So, but society is telling you this is what you have to do these things. You go through, elementary school, middle school, high school, you go to college, trade school, whatever. But then you have to make this amazing leap into life. You have to make this glorious jump into life. And they're saying everybody's doing it. You can do it. Come on, jump. It's important. You have to do it. You have to do it. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. And then there's people who, okay, yeah, I'm here. I've done it. I got straight A's. I'm a doctor or lawyer. I graduated. I'm good. Let's jump off into the world. Let's go. So they jump. But the whole time the world has been teaching you how to climb and telling you need to dive and showing you videos of people jumping and giving you examples of people diving. You jump off and you're confident. You're not scared. But you jump off, and when you get in the water is deep. So you can't touch the bottom. And you realize nobody ever taught you how to swim. Nobody ever taught you the foundation of your life. So you jump off into this water, you jump off into this life, and you start to drown. Because you were never given the tools, you were never given the foundation you needed in order for you to make it into what you're diving into. Sure, school teaches you a lot of things. They give you education. They give you book smarts. They give you, certain tools to make it through professionally. But the drowning is life. What you're jumping into is life. What you're overwhelmed by is life. A lot of people don't understand that and they don't put a lot of emphasis on it. So it's up to you to learn how to swim, how to navigate, put on some floaties. You understand what I'm saying? That's what you being God's treasure is, you knowing that. People get successful, people become powerful in a worldly sense. But there's a lot of mental and spiritual fortitude in order to back that up and be completely successful at it. So what happens is, sometimes when people look down into that water or what they're diving into, when they look at life, it's scary. And they don't have the tools or the mental fortitude to think that they can make it through. They don't have the experiences and the teachings outside of education to help them not be afraid. And then you have people who jump in who start to drown because sometimes they've been misguided or given a not so real account of what they're diving into. So what ends up happening is that water, that life, you end up being overcome by depression, anxiety, addiction, fear. You start to drown. I'm not saying with the other teachings, those things won't come up. No, no, no. They come up. But what happens is when you realize who you are and where you come from, you're able to navigate through those things. You're able to understand how to swim, how to float, how to maintain, because you're being uplifted by hope, forgiveness. You're not being pulled down by guilt. You're not being pulled down by toxicity. You're able to combat all of these things with the teachings of who you are. You're God's treasure. So there's strength, there's power, there's understanding. You see what I'm saying? You know you can get through it. You know how to navigate through it. Your teachings of who you are will show you how to get through murky, dark situations. The water is 40 feet deep and it's dark. But you know that you'll make it through. You know that you can float. You know that you can swim. So when you jump off into life, or when it's time for you to jump off into life, you know that you're well equipped. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I've been doing this since the beginning. I can swim through this. I've seen this before. These wonderful examples that we have. The book, Bible, Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. The examples I use, these are all examples of all of us. This is a text that shows us life and examples of us. So it gives you powerful, powerful stories of how people make it through and how people keep the faith and what they're here for. That's the whole purpose of it. And if you don't know, if you don't read it, if you don't understand it, if you don't look up, if you don't realize where all your power is, it's easy to lose sight. It's easy to lose it. It's easy to start drowning. It's easy to sink to the bottom. It's easy to become hopeless. It's easy to become overcome by these horrible things that a lot of times are just mental. And like, Joseph, what are you talking about? People, become successful, famous. They're happy. But no, that's not how that works. We have examples of some of the most beautiful people, some of the most successful people, the most popular people, the richest people who have succumbed to addiction, who've been overcome by depression. And people always ask, well, he's so rich, or she's so rich, she's so famous, she's so this, she's so that. This is how the world sees her. But you don't know how to fight that spiritual fight. You don't know how to fight that mental fight. Money and popularity is not going to solve all that if you don't have a good or great foundation. If you don't know who you are, you won't know what to do all that. You won't know what to do with all of it. You won't. So I'm here to tell you, for those of you who've taken the leap and are struggling and are fighting and feel like they're drowning, be uplifted by the fact that you're God's treasure. You're not supposed to drown. You can make it through. Sharpen your technique. You can swim. You've been taught. It's innate. It's inside of you. It is. Know who you are. Know who you are as a person. Know where you come from. Know that you're God's treasure. Look in the reflection of the water and say, I'm God's treasure. I can make it through this. When life throws you depression, anxiety, toxicity, there's God's hope, mercy, grace, and power. You can make it. Those of you who are up at the top and don't know what to do, or climbing and don't know what to do, start to teach yourselves. Start to read. Start to look inward. Start to look up. Because that dive is scary to some people. And that water is deep. But if you know how to swim, you know how to float, you can make it through. This thing called life is very scary. This thing called life is very unpredictable. And it's full of good and it's full of bad. It's full of uncertainty. But when you have the skills, when you know who you are, when you know you got a lifeguard, that dive becomes a lot easier. That swim, that float becomes a lot more manageable. So just know he's not forsaking you. He's not leaving you. He's right there. And it's in you. He made you to do this. He made you for this. You're God's treasure. You are God's treasure. So go ahead and make that dive. Go ahead and make that swim. Learn how to do it. Be successful. Know where you come from. Know who you are. So that way when you make it there, you know exactly what you need to do. And every morning, what do you say? I'm God's treasure. Every time you take on an obstacle and you're victorious, I'm God's treasure. Of course I can do this. So just know, you can make that dive, you can make that leap, because you're God's treasure. Some of you may be asking, well, how do I get these lessons and where do I start in the Bible, looking for stories and ways to train and learn certain things about life? There's many stories, to start with. Start with the beginning in Genesis. They have wonderful stories of, Adam and Eve. They tell you what to do, what not to do. Cain and Abel, of course. Joseph. Exodus is Moses and the Israelite people. Of course, also what not to do. Pharaoh. Deuteronomy is a great book to read. It's about God's laws. See a lot of Moses, Joshua in there. Wonderful, wonderful places to start. As far as chapters after that, Proverbs 22, Proverbs 16, Romans 12, Philippians 4. I have these down in the bio of certain verses that I use, especially for this video, that inspired this video and inspired my way of thinking when it comes to being able to learn how to swim, how to get through life. So those are great places to start. Those are great places to begin to read and start following and, just looking for examples of how to get through certain situations. Also, if you have any verses or books that you feel like you would help anyone else, or you feel like helped you, you can put them down in the comments as well. Let me know what you see and what you use, because that'd be a learning opportunity for me as well. But those are just a few. And like I said, they'll be down in the video description, and check them out. We'll see you next time.
Like, comment, subscribe, share, and make sure you hit that notification button so you can be notified about my new videos.